After a year away, fall high school football is back in the state of Washington, and it starts tonight.
We are live at the brand new Ridgeline High School in Liberty Lake with more of what you can expect this season, plus our coverage plan for tonight.
Gorgeous weather expected for the start of high school football tonight, and I'm tracking perfect weather for this holiday weekend.
Right on time, a Spokane neighbor jumped into action this week after a child was almost kidnapped, but she managed to stop it. Plus, Pullman police are sending out a warning after a man has been stopping unmasked students at WSU asking for their personal information.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Krem2 to 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan alongside Brenna Green. We are starting tonight out here in Liberty Lake, Ridgeline High School behind us, the first new high school in Spokane County in more than 20 years, and it also marks the return of high school football in the fall this year. Yes,
tonight is Ridgeline's first big event as a high school with this high school football game, and new stadiums have been popping up around Spokane left and right recently. Of course, the downtown stadium going to be coming in a few years as well. This is a big deal for our community because we haven't had too many new football stadiums over the last few decades, and now all of a sudden things are starting to open up. We're starting to get better facilities around here. I sat down with Ridgeline's athletic director Grady Emerson last week to talk to him about this facility. You're giving me a tour of this place. Take me through the tour.
This stadium just seats just over 3,200 people. We'll be able to accommodate for any event that we hold here. We have an 8-lane track, but on the straightaway we actually have a 10-lane track, which is very popular for events, to be able to get more events, especially in the sprints. Another great area is our throwing events on the other side of the stadium. They go back into our practice field. A lot of times you'll go to an event where the throwing events, javelin and shot, and those things are somehow incorporated into the middle of the field, and it's just a danger, and it's also just inconvenient and people walking around. Obviously our turf stadium, we're very proud to have turf at our school. It just adds so much more usability to the complex. Essentially from 8 in the morning till 10 at night, you're gonna have stuff on it. And that's great because Central Valley in the last few years, they couldn't even practice on their field because they had to keep it so pristine and be ready for game night that you couldn't even get the use. Great new LED lighting that we have here. It's funny, there's not a light switch in our stadium right now. It's all done from a phone. And so they set us up accounts. I could be at home and someone could text me and say, can you turn on the lights? We will have live streaming capabilities eventually. We ordered a camera that will sit on top of the press box. It's a very unique camera. It's actually got like 4 or 5 lenses and they all shoot static. But then there's an AI program that weaves those together and actually follows the motion of the play down the field. It integrates right into our coaching software so coaches can analyze the film and cut the film and be able to trade that with other teams. And we'll have that both inside and outside once we eventually get it installed. So,
what is your favorite thing about this stadium?
My favorite thing is if you go on the back road and if you look north, the Camping World flag. I've been here where the lights were on, it's dark, and you're looking down the field, and the lights are going, and you see the Camping World flag right next to our scoreboard. I mean, it's like, I need that picture in my office at some point.
What was it just like building this facility and now seeing it come to fruition?
To be able to come out, early on and just see kind of random pipes sticking out of the dirt, and knowing that at some point wires are going through that and that they have, some purpose, and then eventually coming into the building and seeing the steel and the walls and now courts and fields, and it feels real now, where before it just kind of felt like it was a process, but now it's like, no, we're a school.
So excited to see kids in the stands tonight. That's the thing we didn't see in Washington last year either. This is just going to be such a community moment around so many high schools in our area.
Oh my goodness, super excited. Team, by the way, warming up behind us on the brand new stadium.
Yes.
Kick off at 7 tonight. They play Lewis and Clark for their first game, so It should be interesting. By the way, the return of high school football season marks more than just the start of football season. It marks kind of the return to somewhat of normalcy, right? After a year of athletics having COVID restrictions and changes, by the way. So back in the fall of 2020, 2020, the WIA released criteria for the return of high school sports in Washington. After classes spiked across the state last fall and winter, football was finally authorized to start in February of 2021. Then all Washington counties moved to phase 3 in March. Fans were allowed at high school football games so parents could safely cheer on their students, however, only at 25% capacity. Fast forward to this fall with the new season, face coverings are not required outdoors regardless of vaccination status. Masks will not be required for vaccinated students at any risk level of sports. Masks will also not be required for unvaccinated students in low and moderate risk sports. Since there are no outdoor gathering restrictions in Washington, high school football spectators can enjoy the games at full capacity. Looking ahead this coming winter, everyone attending games indoor must wear a mask and keep 3 feet of social distancing.
Yeah, and we're going to have so much more tonight in this show talking about where we are headed to shoot high school football games. I think by my last count, I think we're getting to 13 different games tonight.
You cover a lot of games and a lot of miles, by the way.
Yes. Sports people get to know the state of Washington very well.
All right.
And Idaho, for that matter.
Okay, for a complete breakdown of our coverage plans tonight, just text the word football to 509-448-2000, and we'll send that information directly to your phone. At Ridgeline High School in Liberty Lake, I'm Mark Hanrahan alongside Brenna Green. For now, Whitney, we'll send things back to you.
Mark, thank you very much. We'll check back in with both of you coming up a little bit later in the show. Not only, though, is it a big day for high school football fans, but Coug fans as well. Washington State University has their first game against Utah. That's tomorrow night. Our Morgan Trow is in Pullman tonight with a little more about what fans can expect before the big game.
It's been nearly 2 years since Cougar football fans were allowed inside the Martin Stadium. But for the first time since the pandemic began, tens of thousands of fans will be cheering on the team tomorrow night. It's officially fall in Pullman. WSU faces off against Utah State on Saturday, exciting Cougs around the region for the return of college football. No fans were allowed in the stadium last season, so this is the first time some students will get to see their teams play in person.
We want to have a great game. We want to make sure that everybody stays safe. We've got some new policies in place to make sure that we can make sure that we're not spreading COVID-19. But yeah, I think we're going to have a great game this weekend.
WSU spokesperson Phil Weiler says anyone who is not vaccinated is required to wear a mask when they are on campus. They are also requiring masks in indoor spaces like the Hollenberry Fieldhouse, whether you are vaccinated or not. The suite level hallways, coaches club, press level also follow the same guidelines. So if you are outside in the Martin Stadium and you are vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask. However, WSU will not be requiring proof of vaccination. I'll be here tomorrow to see how tailgating is going with these updated guidelines. In Pullman, Morgan Trow, Krem2 News.
Morgan, thank you very much. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a great night to watch a little football. Meteorologist Michelle Boss is in for Tom Sherry. She's in the Outdoor Weather Center this evening, and it's a gorgeous evening already. Michelle, do you think people are going to have to bundle up for the games, or are they going to really be able to enjoy it?
No, I think they're really going to be able to enjoy it. We've got mild temperatures out there right now. I have clear skies off to the east, but I am seeing some clouds moving in from the west. That's actually going to help our temperatures not cool off quite as quickly this evening. No rainfall associated with those clouds, so it does look like it's going to be a gorgeous evening. So the short-term forecast, temperatures falling to the lower 70s by 8 p.m. and still in the mid-60s by 10. So I think even folks that are outdoors, especially crowds of people, are going to have no problem with being too chilly. We've got beautiful weather out there right now, 77 in Spokane at the airport, 76 in Coeur d'Alene. We did see a lot of lower 80s across central Washington today. Temperatures just starting to cool off there. Currently 82 degrees right now in Lewiston. There's that cloud cover that you can see now pushing into central Washington. Maybe a few sprinkles across the Cascades, but again, don't expect any rainfall as those clouds march their way into eastern Washington and North Idaho. The holiday weekend looks just fabulous. A little bit breezy late Saturday into Sunday, but otherwise plenty of sunshine, highs in the low 80s for both days. And for Labor Day Monday, it looks nice and warm. A great day to be at the lake. We'll see partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid-80s.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. Well, renewed warnings tonight not to take an animal deworming drug to treat the coronavirus. The Washington Poison Center says it's helped at least 10 people just in the last month after exposures to the drug ivermectin. The CDC says there were about 4,000 prescriptions a week before the pandemic. Now it's 90,000 a week. Dr. Larry Corey is a vaccine expert with the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. He says the only way out of this pandemic is through legitimate COVID vaccinations.
Vaccination is 90% effective. You want to prevent getting COVID. You want to ameliorate disease. it is to get vaccinated. And to think that ivermectin even comes even close to vaccination in controlling this epidemic is just absolutely wrong.
So it's an anti-parasitic tablet right now. They're really only prescribed to humans when they have specific types of worms. It's mainly used on farm animals. Alaska Airlines will require all new employees to be vaccinated against the coronavirus. Current employees who are fully vaccinated will also get a $200 bonus, and any unvaccinated workers will have to follow a new testing protocol.
First and foremost, if you are unvaccinated, we would recommend not traveling.
So the nation's top doctors are also asking people not to travel for this upcoming holiday weekend, especially if you're not vaccinated. If you are, you should still take some precautions. While cases are starting to plateau, it's usually 10 to 14 days after a big holiday travel weekend that we start to see big impacts on hospitals, which of course here locally we know are already at or nearing capacity. The U.S. job market that has been sizzling pretty much all summer is cooling down in a big way. The economy added just 235,000 jobs last month, which is way less than Wall Street had expected and much lower than the large job gains that were seen in July and June. Economists say the Delta variant is likely the cause. Hiring in many industries dropped out last month as Americans ate out less and canceled trips. But despite the hiring slowdown, job openings are at a record high right now, especially in technology and finance. Walmart and Amazon are also still looking for tens of thousands of workers right now. Still to come tonight, a scary situation for one family after their 5-year-old was almost snatched up by a stranger. How one alert neighbor was able to scare the would-be kidnapper away. That story is next.